Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Designs by Dana. I'm Dana and I'm also a Close to My Heart maker. Currently I'm working on the Close to My Heart maker collaboration. This is a collaboration of different Close to My Heart makers across the US and open to other continents as well, but originally started with 4 makers here in the States. And we just wanted to create a collaboration where we do monthly videos to share tips, tricks, and ideas. And what we're doing this year is we're focusing on the Story by Stacy deck. And these are the prompt cards that help you with ideas on creating your layouts and so on. So as a recap to our draw for this month, let me pull in our cards here. And each set has a stack of ready, set, go, and bonus cards. So for this month, just to give you a recap, our ready card was friendships. The set card was a definition. For go, we are focusing on stamps. And bonus is repurposing. And I'm going to do a lot of repurposing with this project today. So this is my focus for tonight. And let me get this out of the way. And I'm going to pull in my photos and get started here. And what I want to show you is I've already got them cropped down and matted. I have 4 photos here. And I'm actually going to work on a 2-page spread of 8.5 by 11. Scrapbook pages. I don't do these very often, but I'm working on an album project of this trip that my friend came to visit, and we went and did these heart hunting adventures, and I'll tell you more about that during the video. But these are hearts that were created by different artists in the Kansas City area, and they're all very different. And what I did, I wanted you to be able to see it up close. So I printed this one of an up close shot. This is the front of the heart. And I got so much of my inspiration for this particular layout from the heart itself. I have my ceiling fan on because it's really hot up here. So my papers are wanting to blow around. I apologize. But you can see this heart was really inspired by children. And when I look at it, I see a collage of different pieces of artwork made by children. And the first thing that jumped out at me was the crown. In Kansas City, our baseball team is the Kansas City Royals, so we have the royal crown, and our mascot is Slugger. He wears the crown. You see a lot of nods to baseball here. I think this might be a little dragon type thing here. And just a lot of fun trees, flowers, sunshine, rainbows, a lot of fun little icons that I picked up on, and I thought this would be a really fun element to emulate in my layout. So this is where I've gotten most of my inspiration from. And you can see here on the outer edge of the heart and within the KC emblem, it looks a little bit like confetti. So that was also an inspiration for me in picking out my paper choices. So we'll get started, and I just really want to focus in on that because we're going to tie back to that quite a bit throughout this process video. So let me get this out of the way. I'm going to bring in my papers and we'll get started. Okay, I'm starting with my all-purpose mat here because I'm going to start by doing some multimedia, mixed media down here at the bottom. I've marked off the bottom of my white cardstock about 4 inches up, so I know about how far I want to go up with my texture here. I'm going to use the apple green ink and the sapphire ink for this bottom part, and I'm just putting that on my all-purpose mat, spritzing it with water, and using a plastic bag to stick my hand in here and just pulling the ink from the mat over to my paper. You can see although this is sped up, I'm moving quite quickly because the ink, once it hits the paper, dries almost instantly. And then I've got a little left over, so I'm just going to turn that paper over and try to use up all of that ink I can and get that onto the paper. And then I'm going to just wipe that up a little bit and move on over to my next piece of paper. So this is a little bit of a wash and repeat process, but it doesn't take a lot of time. And I'm not trying to go into any kind of pattern. You can see I'm just very, I don't want to say messy, but just kind of throwing it on there. No rhyme, reason, pattern, just totally mixed media, distressing that paper. Trying to get as much coverage in there as I can and filling up that space. And I'm really liking how that's turning out. I'm just going to, again, fill up the rest of that and utilize what ink I have on my mat and get that cleaned up. Once I have the green off the mat, then I'm going to bring in my sapphire and get that little bag cleaned off. Now, with the sapphire, what I did is I thought it would be neat to bring in a different look of a texture. So I pulled out some bubble wrap and I brought that in to use as a different type of texture on top of the green. And you can see that that really gives it a nice little pop of complement color there. So I'm going to do that on both pieces real quick. Doesn't take a lot of time again. And then I can just fill that in. It dries, like I said, almost instantly. And then I just have a little bit of cleanup I need to do on that mat and get that out of the way. Once I get that cleaned up, then I can start my stamping. And you remember that stamping was one of my challenge prompts. So I did some digging and I found a really old stamp set I wanted to use. It's called the softball stamp set. And for this part, I'm using that little tiny piece there. It looks almost like a little fence. And I'm going to random stamp that in here with the toffee ink. I'm just bringing in some brown in there and filling up that space as well. Adding a little bit of extra color. I've got my 3 colors in there. This again is inspired by that background of the heart. So I think it's going to look really cool once it's completed. And I'm going to do some more stamping from that stamp set as well. There is the baseball stamp on there that was also inspired by the heart. And I'm going to pull that in. And I also thought that the bat would be cool. And you can see lots of nods to baseballs. And, you know, baseball is a big thing here in Kansas City. And this particular heart was located down at our Major League Baseball Urban Youth Academy. So I think that that gives an extra nod to some of the baseball activity here. So I'm going to stamp these out. And fortunately, thin cuts weren't around when this stamp set was developed. So I'm going to fussy cut these, but I'm going to do it off camera. I'm just going to show you how when I fussy cut, I kind of cut them out individually and then I cut them out. So now I'm bringing in all of these elements that I want to use to create this little collage space on the 2 pages. And I want to talk a little bit about how I came up with all of these pieces. So here's a piece of paper from the Storybook collection. And it has all these neat little icons. So I cut a bunch of them out and I used markers. And I wanted to show you my markers because I wanted to keep that childlike theme. And so I just used regular markers, not artist markers. I have paper that I'm using from Smarty Pants with the tennis shoes. I've got die cuts that I had in my little bucket I keep on my desk. I've got die cuts from the Storybook collection. I'm going to pull in some stickers from Blue Skies and Smarty Pants. Just a lot of things I had laying around on my desk that I thought could pull in as something a child would use, like going through a magazine and creating a collage. So we're going to use all of these elements. I'm getting my glue ready. I've got my pickup tool, and I'm just going to start putting them together just like I'm envisioning a child putting together a collage in art class. And I'm quickly learning that that pickup tool is not going to work very well. And I need to pull in my tweezers. So I'm getting those in, and I'm going to, you can see I'm bringing some of these off the page. Some of them are on the page, and just kind of mixing things up a little bit here. And I'm going to get a couple down here, and then you'll get the idea of what I'm doing. And then I'm going to speed this up quite a bit because it will take me a little bit of time to put all of these items down. So now I'm in speed up mode, and while I do this, I'll tell you a little bit more about these hearts. So this is the Kansas City Parade of Hearts, and they started it last year, and it was really fun. They had over 150 some hearts, and they spread them out throughout the city. They designed them as white hearts, and then different artists got to sign up, or I guess somewhat audition or apply, I guess is a better word, to decorate the hearts. And once they got selected, they got to decorate the heart however they chose, and then the hearts were located in different places throughout the city and surrounding areas. And then residents and visitors of the city could go hunt them, look for them, and it became a really fun thing. There's an app out, and you could check in at each heart. It gave you information about the artist and location and directions. And so my friend Karen came into town, and we scrapbooked, and we spent some time going heart hunting. And so this album I'm working on, an 8.5 by 11, is really to commemorate that adventure and scrapbook all of our hearts and heart hunting adventures and pictures. So every layout has a picture of the front and back of a heart, and then our selfies that we took with our friend Terry as well, and the hearts. So this year they're doing it again, but there's only 40 hearts. And Karen came back this May, and we went out and did some of those. We didn't get them all, but I'm going to try and actually get them all in this year with either my husband or another friend, and see if I can actually do them all and then create volume 2 for this year. So more to come. You may see more of these heart pictures in my upcoming videos. So I think I've about got all of my elements on here, and I'm ready to think about dry finting. I'm going to add a couple more stickers. And you saw I cut off any overhang pieces, and adding a couple more stickers from that Smarty Pants sticker collection, just filling everything in. And also notice how I overlapped my stickers just like a child would doing a collage. Nothing's just pieced together perfectly. Now with this dry fit, that first piece of paper I wanted to make notice of, because that's the paper that really drew me to this packet because of that confetti nod on the heart. So again, I'm kind of pulling in all of those different elements from the heart. And I got these tiny blue strips here, and my little tip here is notice how I cut them longer, because I find it's easier to keep them longer and then snip them off once I've glued them down. So you might see them hanging and wonder why, but that's why. So I'm getting all of that glued down, and I'm so thrilled with how that collage looks down there at the bottom. And now I'm just going to add some additional title pieces, and I'm not even going to say embellishments at this point, because I think my embellishments are the collage, and that really is my embellishment piece for this spread. So I've got my title here that says Hello Sunshine. And I'm going to pop that up because I have to have my dimension on my layout. So I cut out a lot of that where I put all that foam tape on there, and I'm popping that up here at the top. And then I also found a little bicycle sticker that I wanted to put on the other side. So I'm going to audition that a little bit here. And unfortunately, would have liked it to be facing the opposite direction, but I think it still looks really cute right there. So I'm going to pop that up on that side. And then for the definition card, I also had some little definition stickers from the Smarty Pants paper packet that had definitions of laughter and creativity. And I thought those would look really good for this as well, because we certainly laughed a lot, and the creativity that went into these hearts, certainly really was exhibited here. So I'm going to fidget around with these little definition plaques. I thought that I wanted one on each side of the layout, one on each page. and it just didn't work out because I wanted them to be up at the top originally, and I wasn't liking that. So I landed over here on the right hand side under the photo, and then at the very last minute I decided that I needed to put the blue one on top and the red one on bottom. So I'm going to fidget with that a little bit more and get all my details just right. But I'm really happy with how that looks over there. And then of course on the left, on every layout I'm doing, I have a little plaque that gives the title of the heart, the name of the artist, and the location of where that heart was, just for memory's sake. And so I've of course typed that up because I want it to look nice for each page. Okay, we have a finished, completed 2-page 8.5 by 11 spread. So let me bring back in my prompts here. So for ready, we have friendships. Set, we have a definition, stamps for go, and repurposing. So let's review. Friendships, I've got my friendships in our pictures here and the event of hunting out these hearts. I didn't journal as much as I would have liked to, but I think this whole album and layout tells the story, so there will be some journaling throughout in some of the other layouts. The definitions, I put the definition of laughter and creativity here to go along with the whole artistic theme. Stamps, I included some stamps with the baseball and the baseball bat and some of the background texture. And repurposing, did a lot of repurposing with the paper from, let's see, Blue Skies paper. I've got stamp set that was really old, softball stamp set. I used paper and embellishments from the Storybook set. Lots of different pieces in some of my collage here, which I'm totally thrilled at how that turned out. So let's take a closer look here at how our collage turned out. We'll start with this side and I'll hold that up. So it really, to me, emulates what a childlike collage might look like. And that was really my goal. I've never done anything like this on a scrapbook layout before. And so you can see that, you know, the coloring is not perfect, which I intended. And everything kind of overlaps and just kind of goes all together. And the background, I think, works really well. And here's the other side. So again, some similar coloring and pieces. I tried to give each side some fair representation and balance. I'm gonna bring in this large photo again, just for comparison here. And you can see a little bit better in the larger photo, some of these elements from the heart that I tried to pull in here. And I am just thrilled with how that looks. Like I said, never done anything like it before. Very unique, and I hope you like it and enjoyed it as much as I do, and got some inspiration out of that, and some ways you can pull in elements from your photos into your base pages and scrapbook layouts. So if you liked that and enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed presenting it for you, please be sure to hit my like button, subscribe, and even share if you like it enough to share. I would love that. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Share a comment with me and let me know what you think of this. It's very unique. And I'm going to now flip over to the challenge cards for, let's see, this is May, so it'll be June. And remember, if you would like to join along with us, feel free to do so, and then post on social media. Just use the hashtag, hashtag C2C, and then whatever month you're playing along with, so MAY, and then 23 for the year. So this will be hashtag C2C MAY23, and share with us your creations. And then be sure to look through the links below for the other makers that are participating this month, and you'll see some other great videos and inspiration there as well. So thanks for sticking it out with me. I know this was a little bit longer video, but I'm so pleased with the results. And you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon. And there's the guest. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
For the month of June, for Coast to Coast collaboration, we are going to be having some new cards from our Ready, Set, Go and the bonus cards from the Story by Stacy. Let's see what we're going to be using for our Ready prompt. That is going to be special days. For our Set, we'll be using inspiration. For our Go, we'll be using new products. And for bonus, repurposing. So these are your cards for the June. So that would be hashtag C2C June 23 for the Coast to Coast collaboration. Have fun. Can't wait to see what you create.